Welcome to the real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. The real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. And now your hosts, Bill and Lee Howard.
Hello! Welcome to the Real Ramblers. I am Bill Howard, and this is my brother Lee.
I'm Lee.
You're going to do a stupid voice. Lee's going through puberty again.
I'm Lee. No, not quite nailing it yet.
You'll get there.
I'm Lee.
That's Kermit. Hardy ho, Lee Howard here. That's Posse. Anyway.
I'm Lee. Is that it? No, still
Spot
not
on.
Still not getting it.
I was like, whoa, am I in the room?
I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. Well, howdy ho, folks, and welcome to the Real Ramblers. Today, lucky you.
Woo-woo.
You're in for another
Double take?
do your little horn thing. That double take. That's how we got to do it from now on.
Oh, yeah. You got a million stingers. They call them stingers. All
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back to double take today, folks. So do you want to go first or me?
I think I went first last time, so why don't you...
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Steven.
So my choice for the double take this week is the 1994 Luc Besson classic, Leon, The Professional.
Le Professionnel.
Yes.
French.
I'm a huge Luc Besson fan.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I worked at video stores, there was a movie he did with, I think it was with Christopher Lambert.
Okay.
I don't know if he was in that. It's called The Big Blue. Oh, no. The one with him was called Subway. And then there was one
Subway,
called The Big Blue with Jean Reno. And they were both good. But then he really caught my attention when he released La Femme Nikita.
Right.
Which obviously found an international audience. And that was a time when foreign films really didn't get a lot of push in North America. But that film took off like crazy, inspired many seasons of a TV show.
Oh, yeah.
It had to have gone at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it was a TV show. It went a while.
Yeah, it had Maggie Q for a while, and then it had somebody else in the lead, too.
Yeah, because somebody else took over as like the lead, right?
Yeah. And the show was all right.
I never watched it.
Yeah.
They did that American remake too.
The American remake with Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Which the only thing that I really took away from that I liked is that it had a lot of Nina Simone in the soundtrack, and that kind of turned me on to Nina Simone. I was like, oh, cool. Great. But the original La Femme Nikita was just awesome. Mm-hmm. And it introduced us at the end to a character that was a cleaner played by Jean Reno.
My God, yes.
Who then... I think as the story goes, Luc Besson liked the character so much, he was like, I'm going to write a whole movie around that character.
Awesome. I kind of forgot. It's been so long since I've seen La Femme Nikita. I kind of forgot that the cleaner was, Jesus, right.
So then in 94, The Professional comes out, called The Professional in North America. There's also an international cut that is called Leon that came out a few years after that. This movie was one of those movies that is 100% Bill.
Right.
It's like there's certain movies that are just my DNA, and this is one of them. It's one of those movies that from the first viewing in the theater, I was like, this is my jam.
Right.
This movie is for me. Jean Reno is a powerhouse in this movie.
He's so good.
The world's introduction to Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Who again was just...
You never get kid actor. Well, I shouldn't say you never. It's very rare to have a kid actor that's like amazing and like from the get-go, it's like...
Yeah, that good.
You got talent, kid.
Gary Oldman is one of the all-time great villains.
Holy fuck. He's so terrifying in that.
Oh, so
you
good.
don't like Beethoven.
Yeah, it's so great.
Overtures like that, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, and then what's the line he says about... I was going to go with... Chopin or something, and he goes, but he's a little too light.
Yeah. So I tend to go for the heavier guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's so good, and all his henchmen are so great. And you know what I just found out? You know that there's the one guy called Benny. He's a bald guy in the hallway, And when they're coming back out after the massacre, he goes like, Benny, for God's sake, for fuck's sakes, wait, we're trying to come out. And he was all nervous. That guy was a real life firefighter and died in 9/11.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Crazy.
No way. Wow.
Crazy. But yeah, so
Danny Aiello also.
Oh my God. Danny Aiello. Even though not in it much.
No, still great.
Holy crap, was he great. Danny Aiello. I mean,
yeah, R.I.P.
We could literally do a whole episode on Danny Aiello. He's done so many memorable roles. But yeah, so this basic story of a hitman in New York, apparently he's supposed to be Italian.
Oh yeah, I always forget
even
that.
Though he's French.
With the Frenchiest accent.
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny when people do, not that anybody complains about it in Leon, but I always find that stuff can be explained that people are from a lot of places. And
yeah.
So maybe he's a French hitman that works for the Italian mafia.
Yeah. Like there's shit. Yeah. They didn't bother me so much in that.
But the little things, one of the things I love about Luc Besson's writing is he's very much about the minutia, about little tiny character details. And I love that for fans of Leon, if you were to say, what are the things that defines Leon? You're like his plant.
Yeah.
Drinking the quarts of milk.
Oh, yeah.
Carrying around his guns in that cool ass case.
Yeah.
So many little things like that. And I love that he's kind of simple.
Yeah.
But he's super effective at his job.
Yeah.
And then there's hints that back in Italy that something happened over a woman.
Yeah.
Which is why he had to leave.
She died or something, maybe.
Or something.
I kind of forget. It has been a while since I watched it.
He killed somebody because of her.
Oh, that's right. Right. That's it. And then they killed her.
Yeah, I think so. And then he had to leave Italy.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically the story, he lives in the same building as this drug-dealing scumbag, and that whole family is massacred by Gary Oldman, who's a DEA agent, a rogue DEA agent. And that massacre scene of the family
is insane.
Is so good.
Oh my God.
So well done and scary. Like the guy's a DEA agent and he's flat out murdering teen girls. And,
oh my God! Yeah, just everybody
kills the little boy, and
it's
like there's and all over drugs.
Yeah,
and not
even a lot of drugs. I mean, I don't know what they cost.
You can pretend that. Yeah, that scene is amazing. And then Leon the hitman takes in the girl that was out of the building at the time. And then she wants revenge and wants to be trained as a
she wants to hire Leon to kill the bad guys.
At first, which he won't do.
Yeah.
And then agrees to train her. Well, first I'll say the things I love. The film is, especially the director's cut, is pretty much perfection to me.
Right.
The beats of the story, the twists, where it goes, how it's resolved, the ending, I think is a brilliant writing arc with brilliant characters. Besson's camera angles are amazing in it.
The action scenes are fantastic.
Action scenes are great. I read that the apartment building they live in is actually the Chelsea Hotel in New York, which is a famous hotel. Wow. But that the interiors of Leon's apartment were actually an apartment in Paris.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm like, how weird is that, right?
Wow,
Every time he leaves his apartment, he goes from Paris to New York.
That's a hell of a commute.
But yeah, Eric Serra's music is great.
Yeah. The music is great in that.
Everybody that's in it is great. The SWAT team finale is unbelievable action. In the director's cut, there's really cool scenes. Most of the stuff that was taken out is scenes of him training Matilda to be a killer.
Yeah. Because American audiences are like, we can't have, like a kid learning to kill someone and stuff like that.
Yeah. And those scenes are awesome.
Yeah.
And I heard that Besson really wanted to make a sequel about grown-up Matilda, and that the people who had the rights wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So that's when he made the movie Colombiana.
Yeah, which is...
With Zoe Saldana, which is essentially part 2.
It would have been great, a sequel, and have Natalie Portman being a hit person. And you could have Jean Reno as her, just kind of like
a ghost
imagining
mentor.
He's with her.
It'd be amazing.
It would be a perfect way to do it.
Yeah. But so here's it's always had a little controversy over the relationship between Leon and Matilda.
Right.
I personally have never seen it that way.
Right.
I see them as both innocents.
Right.
And she's at an age, and you got to remember, she's raised by a drug dealer and a prostitute.
Right,
That's her parents.
And they're very abusive. Very abusive,
including her sister.
Ugh,
they're all abusive. Yeah. But she's lived in a world literally where...
No one's ever been nice to her.
Yeah, no one's been nice to her. And it's like literally a drug dealer and a sex worker, not that there's any, not that
no,
they're the same thing.
We're not condemning that.
A sex worker's not a criminal. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's her world. That's what she sees every day. So to her, that's what love is. Right. So she sees it as something different because she's so young.
Right.
So when the scenes come up about her being in love with Leon, it's like that timeless story of a kid that thinks that their father is the ideal of a man they want to eventually meet.
Yeah.
And I always saw the story as that.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever really wanted to lose her virginity to Leon.
No.
She didn't even really know what that was.
Yeah.
It's just the way she was verbalizing her love for him.
Yeah.
And it's like some people were like made uncomfortable by the scene where she's doing the Madonna, the Like a Virgin thing. I saw that scene as so innocent.
Right.
And it's like all that she's doing is singing a song that's off the radio, dressed like the person that sings the song.
Yeah. And yet, Leon doesn't look at her at all like that. Like she is a daughter to him.
He loves her.
Yeah.
And looks at her as somebody he loves, but never looks at her in that way.
It was always very father-daughter.
Yeah. Even in the director's cut, there's a scene where they're at a restaurant. They go out to dinner together.
Yeah.
And she gets drunk on champagne. And tries to get him to kiss her.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's still innocent. She's trying to get a kiss in an innocent way.
Yeah.
Because she loves him and she's the only person who's ever saved her from anything.
Yeah. I understand why people are like, yikes, because like I get it,
Can't you analyze things for yourself?
Yeah, I totally it's just like
and what really
kid who's infatuated with
and what really disappointed me is I was looking up stuff about this and I've heard that even Natalie Portman has said that she finds it cringy. I'm like, come on, you made it.
Right.
You don't see that it's not that?
Right.
Come on. That really disappointed me.
Open to interpretation kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't like people that make things that are groundbreaking and that are art.
Right.
And then because of the social climate, go back on it.
Right.
Like I think the greatest example for me was Timothy Chalamet made, and I mean, he's young too, so you gotta, whatever, give him a little slack, but he made a movie with Woody Allen.
Okay.
Because everybody wants to make a movie with Woody Allen. And then a couple years later, when all his accusation things resurfaced again, which was only a few years ago, 4 years ago.
I think so, yeah.
He was promoting another movie, and somebody, of course, being a dick in the interview brings up, you made a movie with Woody Allen. How do you feel about that now? And he was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have.
Right.
And I'm like, why would you say that?
Right.
These accusations are decades old, so it's not like you didn't know who Woody Allen was or who the accusations were. So don't double back. You wanted to make a movie with Woody Allen, and you did.
Right.
So don't double back on it just because of social pressure.
Certain things I can like we were talking in the Christmas episode when you're watching like Holiday Inn or whatever, and you're like, certain things, absolutely, it's like, it's like, it was acceptable back then and the social climate's changed for the good. So it's like blackface stuff like that, it's like, that's bad. That's bad. And, some things.
But you also have to watch it knowing it's a product of its time. It's not like the scene in Holiday Inn is totally cringy.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't made with any sort of ill meaning or they weren't trying to intentionally.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a kind of a loaded. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I'm sure they were. I don't think the people that were making Holiday Inn were like, let's do a musical number.
Oh, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like for them, that was a normal thing. Yeah. Like, it's obviously a thing that should have never been normal. Yeah. But yeah, I see what you're saying. They're not trying to. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But anyway, so a lot of people have a lot of issues with Leon.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it that way.
Right.
Every time I've watched the movie a million times and I just never see their relationship that way. I don't see their relationship as inappropriate. I see it as being two people that love each other because they're rescuing each other from terrible lives.
Yeah.
That love each other and don't know how to express it because neither one of them has had it in their lives.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's always come across very father-daughter to me, like found family kind of. And because, they did kind of like rescue each other.
And she's super young, so she doesn't know how to express these things.
Right.
So that's what I've always taken
Right.
But anyway, aside from that, it's a beautiful character movie. It's a beautiful relationship movie about people saving each other, which is great.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, it's one of the most badass action films.
The action is
ever made.
Bonkers. Like it's yeah, and it's funny because it's like just to look at Jean Reno, you wouldn't be like action guy. You know what I mean? Like,
and yeah,
it's so,
to me, he's one of the all-time great cinema action badasses.
Yeah, Leon, it's very like everything he does is 100% believable.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so sad that we only ever got one Leon, one movie with that character.
Yeah,
because his character is so. Imagine if they did a series of movies that was all about Leon's different hits. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, they would have to be awesome. Prequels, I guess. Spoiler alert, but
yeah. But man, that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, is it high on your list of?
Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've seen it, but I've always really liked it.
Yeah.
Just I like them as like a family, and I wish we would have seen her growing up as a hit person and stuff like that because they were such an influence on each other's life. I don't know, it's just a cool revenge story in a way, you know what I mean? Like he didn't have to help her out, he didn't have to go, but he saw like a broken person, and especially like a broken kid,
and he saw himself and
and it's like, how do you not help a kid that you've seen, because he lives in the apartment building with these people, he's seen like her parents are crazy abusive, her whole family is, like how do you not help a kid who's in such a bad situation, you know? And it's an awesome movie, and it's always heartbreaking when he's like having to say goodbye to her and put her down that thing, and she doesn't want to leave him.
Sells that scene
it's like, how are you this good of an actor? It makes me mad when I see kids that are that good at acting. Like, how are you this talented? You're like a kid.
I think I was listening to Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and Paul Giamatti was on it.
Okay.
And Dax Shepard said, the kid in Holdovers, like the main kid in that movie.
Yeah, I just watched that one for my very first time. Yeah, I'll talk about that we'll talk about it in the wrap up. Yeah.
Okay. I loved it. But so Dax says, is it true that was that kid's first movie? And Paul Giamatti's like, yep. And then Dax Shepard goes, well, fuck him then.
Yeah. it's so true.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And that's anytime you see, like, watching Natalie Portman and Leon is like, what?
Yeah.
That's the first time she's acted?
It's insane. Like, I mean, they auditioned like a billion
thousands,
people. Yeah. She's like incredible. Like better than, like, her as a kid is a better actor than most adults now. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah. But they were both like so good in it, and obviously Gary Oldman is like terrifying in that movie.
So good.
And I don't think that was the first thing I had really like noticed him in. Maybe it was Dracula.
True Romance.
Oh, True Romance. That's
True
it.
Romance.
Yeah. Also, maybe that'll be another one I do on another doubleheader. He's just the whole cast is so great, and it's a great action movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more than just an action movie.
Yeah, the characters are so memorable.
Yeah. It kind of. What did I? Shit. I was going to say it got lumped in with like Speed. No, I know what it is. It's because they tried to market it more like Speed. That's what it was. Because Speed was out around that time of year. Yeah. And I feel like there was and I think this kind of misled people. I feel like there was
Leon
like
the movie that had that quote.
Yeah, and it's like
makes Speed look like a slow ride to Grandma's house.
That's it. That's where that was. Yeah, and it's like it's not that kind of movie. No. Speed is like a super fun fucking movie.
Yeah,
but it's very different.
Yeah,
so it's like, I mean, but that's just they're trying to make money. It's marketing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe misled people.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, fucking Leon's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, anybody out there, I mean, revisit Leon. If you're a fan, revisit it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And while you're at it, go back, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen La Femme Nikita. Like, check it out, because
when did that come out? Like
badass movie. 91.
Oh, okay.
90, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think 90. But it's absolutely badass, and another great Hitman movie. Awesome. So, what is your choice for the double take?
I was like, I don't know what I should do, and Jordan's like, just look at like the DVDs and see if there's something that jumps out. And I was like, oh, American Psycho would be a fun one to talk about. So I had read the book years before I even knew there was going to be a movie, and I was like,
same here.
Wow, they can never make a movie out of this book.
Yeah, that's what I thought too,
because it's so graphic,
depraved,
very, very, very. And then, you know, when you read about the road to making this movie, some of it's like crazy because, you know, at one point the studio, like there was like Oliver Stone almost directed it.
Yeah.
And at one point the studio really wanted DiCaprio to play Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And I mean, DiCaprio's great, but it's like, it's hard now because it's like that, it's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
You know?
Although I think Oliver Stone might have done cool things with it.
It could have been, yeah. But it's like, I think the version we got was the best possible one we could have got. Yeah. So Mary Harron directed it, and the studio didn't want Christian Bale at all,
right?
Because they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
So they had to like and it's funny because
even though it's like just hand them at the time a DVD or videotape of Empire of the Sun.
Oh yeah, it's like he's
watched like 12-year-old Christian Bale and be like, "Were you trying to tell me this kid can't pull off anything?"
Seriously, yeah. But you know, like how studios are, they're like they need big. That's why they got Reese Witherspoon, because they're like, we need a big name in it. Right. So they're like, we'll cast her.
Barely in it.
She's barely in it, yeah. And there's like at a certain point where they like Bale and Mary, it was not like fundraising, but it was like they were selling the movie and then the like pitching it and stuff. And then they were like, okay, cool, we're going to make it, but Bale's out. But in his mind, he was always like, no, I'm still doing this movie. And Mary was like, I can't. And he's like, no, I'm still doing it. And then it just ended up working out, obviously. Right. In rewatching it, because I rewatched it semi-recently, and I hadn't watched it for a while, and I forgot how funny the movie is.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
It is really funny.
Yeah,
this is the first one. When I rewatched it the other day, it was the first time in a long time, too.
Yeah, it really is like a satire or like a parody of 100%. Like 80s Wall Street obsession with like money and like toxic masculinity stuff. And
rewatching it now, none of the murders even feel like
most things are off screen.
They don't feel like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
No,
not at all.
And it's funny because there's a funny kind of. I was watching interviews with Christian Bale, and he's like, when he was kind of prepping for the role, he's like, I was going to try and do an impression of Christian Bale. I don't really think I can, but he's like, you know, I went down to Wall Street and I was the trading center with those guys and watching all the Wall Street guys and saying that I'm going to make American Psycho. And they were all like, oh, we love Bateman. Bateman's the best. And he's like, ironically though, right? And like that's like the because he was like, no, don't idolize this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a funny kind of correlation between a type of like,
but that's true because like Wolf of Wall Street's the same thing.
That same thing, yeah. And like what I was gonna say is there's
the Wolf of Wall Street guy is a
dude characters
asshole
in movies that like some guys or whatever will be like, yeah, man, that guy's fucking awesome, but it's like you're not getting it. Like this is a parody, you know, like. With Patrick Bateman and Tyler Durden, it's kind of the same thing where a lot of dudes will look at them like, oh yeah, like fucking men's men and stuff. But both of those characters were written by gay dudes who were making fun of that kind of guy and masculinity. And it's so funny that some guys are just like, yeah, he's a real. It like, and Willem Dafoe obviously is fucking great. And his character in the book was barely in it, but they beefed him up because it's another name.
Yeah.
And something really cool I read with Willem Dafoe is that they had him do 3 takes of every one of his scenes.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, one where he suspected Bateman, one where he didn't at all, and one that was indifferent. And they used different ones each time so that you never knew if like he was onto him or wasn't onto him. Like, it was crazy.
And you can tell because there's some scenes with Willem Dafoe where he's totally seems like he knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
And then there's other ones where he's laughing and being super casual.
Yeah, like it's so much. Yeah, there's so many things in it that made me laugh so much.
It just adds to the surrealism of it.
Yeah, and that is it too, because it's like, you know, it's also really debated about, was this all in his head or was it not? And I think my view, because I think it's different for everybody, is that some of it was and some of it obviously wasn't. Like obviously the ATM machine wasn't saying feed me a stray cat.
Yeah.
You know?
But it couldn't have all been in his head because then where did Paul Allen go?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing too. That's the, like my take on that is that, because again, it's 80s and they're talking about doing a modern day remake. And I just don't know how well it would work in the modern day. Because especially 80s.
It depends. If you have a really good writer who knows how to like twist it.
It's like all of those Wall Street guys, like they look the same. Like he has the same haircut and Oliver People's non-prescription glasses.
Yeah.
We even go to the same hairdresser.
Yeah.
So it's like they all look, that's why no one knows who the fuck anybody is, because they all like, it doesn't matter. You know, they all look the same. Like, hey, Halberstram.
Yeah.
And like the lawyer being like, I had fucking lunch with Paul Allen and whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're really like, maybe he was, I don't know. But I think that because it was so money obsessed in 80s and stuff, I think they probably did find like all these murders and stuff in Paul Allen's apartment.
Right.
But I mean, you know, if they had to like list it and everyone knew that it was like, there was like a fucking horror show in there.
Yeah.
The they couldn't charge that much, right? So it's like all about money. So like, we'll clean it up. We'll sweep it away. We don't want any like fucking, you know what I'm trying to say?
Stigma,
I'm losing my stigma. Thank you.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll just sweep it under the rug and who cares? It's fine.
Yeah.
And like, ooh, look at this nice apartment. Yeah, I think up to a certain point, it's for sure, like, it's all real. And then, just go, like, I mean, that whole scene, like, even they've talked about even Mary Harron's like, you know, and it's like Patrick Bateman is us for a second when he's in the shootout with the cops and he shoots the cop car and it's like, big explosion. And he like looks at the gun like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen? And then just gets away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently also, they called him Robo Actor on the set because he could literally start sweating on cue.
Really?
Yeah. Like
that's just like who I can't remember what actor it was. Somebody was just talking about an actor the other day and said that on command they can make one teardrop go down their cheek.
It's crazy.
Oh, Daniel Kaluuya.
Oh, amazing! When
they were doing Get Out in the audition.
That's insane.
He was sitting because they were doing the scene in the chair for the audition.
Sure, yeah.
And he said one tear would go down and they'd be like, that was really cool, but can we do it again? And they were thinking it was just a coincidence.
Sure.
And then they do it again, one tear.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fuck off again. Like, how are you this talented?
I know.
So yeah, when they're doing the business card scene, he just starts sweating like on command and they're just like, how the fuck is this guy doing this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's just, I don't think, that's what Christian Bale said, because he didn't really do any kind of like backstory or character stuff, because for him he's like Patrick Bateman is like an alien, like just trying to act like a person, and that's how he approached it, which you can totally like see
absolutely
in his performance. Like it's so funny. Like I have a lunch appointment with Cliff Huxtable. It's so like there's so many funny things in it. It's crazy, and it really is just like a super like. It's like a parody.
And
almost.
it is. And when you watch the movie, I don't know how anybody could take it seriously because every character overdoes it.
Oh yeah,
like when he has lunch with his buddies, they're all like, they're all over the top.
Yeah, high-fiving each other.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it's like the only one that seems grounded is his secretary, Chloe Sevigny.
Yeah.
Who was great in it.
She was great too.
It's a small role, but she was really good.
Yeah.
And there's the whole scene where they go on a date together. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
When they're at his house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like clueless and he's like thinking about like, am I going to kill her?
Yeah.
And she's just not getting it.
Yeah.
And she's really good in that scene.
Super good. Yeah. And it's like the meanings are so like, like what he's saying makes sense to her, but in like an innocent way. He's like, if you stay, I think I might hurt you. And she's like, well, I don't want to get hurt. Like, I don't want to get bruised and stuff. And it's crazy. Yeah. His character is funny, like in that when things are like one little bit out of his control, he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
So it's like that happens and it's like, you know, he clams up and when like he's fucking murdering people and stuff. And then when Lewis Carruthers, like, he tries to kill him in the bathroom and the guy turns around and he's like, why did it take you so long? And he doesn't know he doesn't kill him, you know?
I hated Lewis. Oh my God, that guy was...
Oh my God, yeah. It was funny haircut. And, and a lot of people are like, because Patrick probably, because like when he was talking to Willem Dafoe and he's like, can you tell me a bit about Paul Allen? Paul Allen, that's my Willem Dafoe face for the people that can't see. And he's like, he's probably a closet homosexual who did a lot of cocaine. And it's like, that's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
And that's why when he was like confronted with that guy hitting on him, he's just like, I don't know what to do. And like, I gotta scram. And like, and just like leaves and like, where the fuck are you going?
Yeah.
So like, anything that's like not in his control, he's just like, I don't know what to do.
His performance is definitely one of like those, that's one of the performances that anchored him as one of the best actors.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like out of like, that was his giant breakout. Yeah. And it's funny, so many people didn't know he was British.
Yeah.
Because even like he wanted to stay in the American voice, like even offset.
Yeah.
So I've seen like behind the scenes interviews while they were filming, and he's still talking with the American accent because he just didn't want to break it.
Right.
Another funny interview I saw is that he was saying how, because the book was very controversial, obviously, when it came out, that there was like early days of the internet message boards and about it, and people were like, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna like Christian Bale, like, for doing this, and it's like if he goes into this like alley, like I'm gonna fucking kill him because he's like this, he shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
And so his like publicist people or whatever were like, stay away. And he's like, no, I think I'm going to go to that alley. And he's like, I went to that alley. And I was like, where is this guy?
Of course.
Yeah.
The early days of trolls.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He had to go to a message board instead of just tweeting it.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just, it's such a, like, re-watching the movie now, again, like I forgot how funny it is. And it's like, because I think,
me too. When I rewatched it, I was like, wow, it's like so much more evident now that it's a comedy.
Yeah.
That it's a satire.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's crazy because, I don't know, it's just, it is so over the top.
Everybody's acting like they're in a sitcom.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. It's so true.
Yeah.
I saw a funny thing that, and at first I was like, you're an idiot. But I'm
Wouldn't
like,
it be funny to put a laugh track to American Psycho?
I bet you could.
I bet it would work.
I want to see, I don't know if somebody did this or I just thought of this, but there's when he's breaking up with Reese Witherspoon at the restaurant, there's a scene that's almost the same in Legally Blonde, which she's in, and then she's getting broken up with at a restaurant. I'm like, somebody should edit these two together, and I bet it would be really funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, I saw a funny thing, and at first I was like, oh, you're an idiot, but I'm like, oh, wait, you're making a joke about it, because they're talking about doing the reboot, and I saw somebody tweet something like, oh, they'll probably try and make it woke now and have like a woman direct it and like a lesbian write it, and it's like, oh, because that's what they did with the original. And I think maybe that's like a why the movie was so successful too, is having like women write it, because it's such like a parody on like dudes and stuff like that, is why it's so successful. And I'm still flummoxed that they made a sequel. Which is crazy. Like I never saw it, because fuck it.
I think I did.
Really?
But I don't remember any of it.
It was apparently just like a movie script that was floating around that had nothing to do with American Psycho, but the first one was so successful that they were like, let's just make it. And it's like William Shatner is in it. And what's her name from that 70s show? And
Mila
they're like,
Kunis.
Yeah, Mila Kunis. Like when she was 6, or 8, 9, she killed Patrick Bateman, and now she's a psycho. Womp womp. Fail.
Well, anyway, solid choice. I love that movie. It's great. And not many movies can pull off that level of satire with something that's so violent. And
totally.
Like it was really well done that way.
Become pretty iconic. I think. Yeah,
it has for sure. Do you want to throw in some recommendations at the end of this episode? No.
Well, okay, no, I'll do this because it's funny, because I was like trying to balance, like, I didn't like this, I like this. I didn't like this, I like this. I had never actually seen all of the Hunger Games movies. I had only ever seen the first one. So we watched the 4, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, these get really good. Like they get really serious.
Awesome.
And they got better and better for me, I thought.
Me too.
Like way more serious than I thought, way more action-y. I was like, these are fucking great.
Yeah.
And then I saw that new one, that prequel.
Oh my God. Joanne and I are huge Hunger Games fans. Huge. And we wanted to go to the theater to see the new one, and we didn't. And then it came on demand, and then we watched 15 minutes and we're like, nope. And turned it off. And we don't turn movies off.
Wow. We were on our phones the entire movie.
It was terrible.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how bad it was.
Me too.
Holy fuck.
As soon as she started singing, I'm like, what is going on?
There are multiple musical numbers in it.
No.
It just, nothing about it. I didn't like it.
No. And I was really excited when I heard it was coming out. I was
curious, because it's like he's the bad guy in the other ones. It's Donald, and it's like he's like good guy, and then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes or so before the end, he does a thing, and they're just like, basically like, you're a villain, and he's like, I'm a bad guy now.
Wow.
Like it was like AI wrote it for real. It felt like AI wrote this movie.
But the originals I love.
So great. Yeah. So so it's a balance. I saw movies I liked, and I saw one that was made me upset.
Well, since we mentioned The Holdovers, I'll make that my recommendation today, because I just finished it the other day. That movie.
So great. I didn't really know much about what it was about. I love the setting.
I didn't either when going into it.
Yeah.
One, I love how the director made it look like it was made in the time that it takes place.
Took me like,
so cool.
Yep.
Like the color treatment to the whole film, the opening credits, the fact that it's almost in full frame.
Yep. Yep.
But then it's just, Paul Giamatti does this, where it's like, I watch a Paul Giamatti movie and I'm like, God bless Paul Giamatti. And then I forget about him for a year. And then he does another movie and I watch it and I'm like, God damn it, Paul Giamatti. You are so goddamn good.
He's so great in it. And you just like, the movie I loved it. It was really great. I just loved that it was just about kind of like lost people that kind of found each other and helped each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, you shouldn't, everyone hated him because he was like a dick, but it's like when you find out about his life, it's like you kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, totally.
Through that.
And the kid, like we were saying, that's never acted before, Dominic Sessa. Holy crap.
I looked up, I'm like, what else has this guy been in? Because he was great. And I was like, holy shit.
Nothing.
Good job, guy.
And then Divine Joy Randolph, who's been getting every award on the planet.
Deservedly
playing the head chef at the school. She was
unbelievable in it.
Have you seen the little interview of Paul Giamatti talking about her wink? Remember when they were at the table and the student said something and then she winked at him and she said, "You're welcome." And apparently she improv that. And in an interview, they were interviewing them and Paul Giamatti says, when she did that wink, he says, I lost it on set. I was just like, that's the most beautiful thing. Just instinctively knowing to do the right thing at the right time to make the whole scene work.
Nice.
And then when the last award, I think it was at the SAG Awards, when she won, she went up and she said, the first thing she said when she went up is, Paul Giamatti, every time I say your name, I cry.
Oh.
And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, there was a lot. It makes me emotional thinking about it.
Me too. The relationship between those three was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. And it was so authentic.
Yeah.
Everything in that movie felt so real.
Yeah.
And the arc of where they went over those nights and
I
those
want a sequel. I want to know where he's like, I hope his life got better.
It was a beautiful movie.
I don't want to spoil much, but it's like, it ended where it should have for that story. But
it was an absolutely beautiful movie, and Paul Giamatti is a fucking treasure.
It was a 10 out of 10 performance. I love him, and even with his wonky eye, and I was part of his character. And
well, Paul, just sign us off, telling us how much you love Real Ramblers. Then
keep our rambling, and I love you.
Paul Giamatti loves me. I'm so happy.
I love you very much.
Are you saying it to me or the audience?
No, I love you.
Okay, good.
I love you for who you are.
And we love all of you.
And I love you, Mr. Telly. Yep.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Bye.
See you next week on The Real Ramblers. Keep rambling.
Thanks for listening to The Real Ramblers. Follow us on Instagram at Real Ramblers. That's REEL Ramblers. And you can follow Lee at Lee Howard _art and Bill at JustTheBill1138.